Boy, spectra of conversion therapy. What does spectra mean?
Spectre. No.
Spectre. I don't know. I don't know what that means. Spectre.
Okay.
Anyway,
Okay. Well, we
so
don't know
so
everything.
so,
That's fine.
so why don't you give me a bit of a rough rundown on what conversion therapy is?
All right. So it's basically when they want to try to change your belief or um, whatever it is that you identify as, like
So this is
gender.
like kids that are coming out as gay and their parents are like, "Fuck that. We're
Well, not
gonna we're gonna we're
necessarily.
gonna
Not
get that shit out
necessarily.
of
In
you."
this, this is more of a. Well, actually, no. Yeah, you'll see. There's going to be in the article what this. You'll see. Let's just read it, and then
Okay,
you'll.
I'll read it. All right.
Otherwise, I'm just going to reveal it. Yeah.
Language of ad concerns members of LGBTQ community Hampton woman claims to RCMP. When Vivian Myers Jones read the description of a summer camp being offered to teenage boys, she was instantly reminded of her childhood and the expectation that she conformed to the traditions, ideals of being a male. So this is a trans male? Trans man?
It doesn't matter at this point. Continue. Yeah, you'll
This
see.
was something I had very silently struggled with for 40 years of my life, said Myers Jones, a transgender Hampton woman. Okay, so when she heard that Caton's Island, a church-run summer camp in St. John River near St. John, advertised a camp described as guiding boys to authentic manhood, from confusion to clarity, she was upset. The language used in ad worried Myers Jones so much that she reported to the RCMP with concerns it had the hallmarks of conversion therapy, which is illegal. The RCMP were asked about the complaint, but spokesperson Corporal Hans Woulette said the force doesn't usually confirm whether police are investigating unless charges have been laid in court. Those involved in the camp, which also forged camp, are not talking about their plans, nor about a since deleted social media post. People who have studied the controversial practice of conversion therapy say proving a crime has been committed is difficult. Cultural confusion regarding masculinity. A post on Catone's Island Facebook page, which has since been taken down, said, "We will endeavor to guide the young men at this camp out of the cultural confusion regarding masculinity to a biblical clarity by using character studies, by scripture, history, and modern times of real men who stood strong and made a positive difference." The post said, "Authentic masculinity is the expected outcome." Catone's Island's website said the camp, which is open to teenage boys between 14 and 16, will provide a clear definition of authentic manhood and give young men a clear destination. Phrases like cultural confusion regarding masculinity and authentic masculinity really jumped out at Meyer Jones. The language of the ad can be taken from the old days, she said. "I felt I had to report at that point," she said. "It all looked way too familiar to me. I suffered on account of it. I don't want to see anyone else suffer, especially the way I did." Catone's Island operated by Wesleyan Church, although anyone may apply to attend the camp. CBC News called and emailed Catone's Island camp director and Wesleyan Church of Canada's head office in Sussex, but has not received a response. The New Brunswick Human Rights Commission was also asked whether Forge Camp violates human rights, but a spokesperson declined to comment because the issue is the subject of a criminal complaint. Language matters, a lawyer says. "The legal standard for a criminal charge of practicing conversion therapy is very high," said Fredericton lawyer and advocate Amber Chisholm, who is also a board member of Imprint Youth, which works with the LGBTQ community. Conversion therapy describes an intentional choice to have a queer or transgender child stop identifying that way and begin presenting as straight or cisgender. Okay. In the wake of decriminalization of conversion therapy, she said the wording of any advertising is likely to be crafted very carefully to not transgress the criminal code. And she said it's entirely possible that this camp was created to teach life skills which organizers see as valuable to cisgender boys and nothing more. Chisholm does believe, however, a larger conversion is needed about gender rules. The issue isn't necessarily that those life skills have no value. It is that they're being tied to very rigid cisgender and heteronormative gender rules that constrain who can and cannot participate, or how certain kinds of children who are assigned male should express themselves. She worries this kind of language can have an effect on transgender, nonconforming, or queer children, that it's likely going to be negative and likely going to contribute to people staying closeted. Okay, that's... And then it
Okay.
says, Scavo said it's particularly concerning when vulnerable youths are involved. We're very concerned, and it's why we're monitoring the situation. He said he's reached out to the camp to get some more information, but he hasn't heard back from anyone.
Yeah. So it's important to note here that the law, they passed a law um, in terms of in terms of all of this. It's not. It's against the law now. Okay.
What is conversion therapy?
Yeah, in Canada it is.
So conversion therapy
So-
is when, like, well, let's say I had a queer kid, and he said, "I'm queer," and I was like, "No, you're not. You're going to go to conversion therapy." Is that what it is?
Yes, that's what it is.
Okay.
And I also read, and I can't find the article now, but that in Vancouver, it's prevalent and it's still happening. And these are people
Okay.
who are
Well, that
testimonials
is that like a Christian thing?
to pray
Or
the gay away. Have you ever heard that expression?
no, I wasn't really heavily exposed to religion. You know, I'm a confirmed
See,
Catholic, but my mom wasn't
so
too strict with it.
here's what I'm seeing in all of this. I'm going to try to be as objective as possible with this, but I think that because it doesn't affect a lot of heterosexuals, let's call it that, right?
Which is, and let's be honest, heterosexuals are the majority of the population as well. So it doesn't
That's
affect the majority of the population.
statistically, yeah, and so that's why I think it's getting ignored, and kind of like brushed under the rug,
But
because
14 to 16, that's the age. It's pretty
so
specific.
I don't have any children, but you have a child, and so I know we're not going to
Yeah.
make this about us, but I don't think that I agree that this law should exist, but I also think that and I no, let's put it this way. I don't think that you should force anyone to be anything that they don't want to be or that they aren't in any way,
Right.
shape, or form.
But
Why?
but my question is for all this is like,
But for who? Who does this benefit?
well, I'm trying to play the devil's advocate here right now.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, yeah.
Is like, what if as a parent you feel that they're being foolish and that their judgment's being clouded, and maybe they're
Okay.
not maybe they're not grown up enough to be making these decisions. Like, what would you say to that?
Then you wait it out. You wait it out, and if
Exactly, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think that's a big problem that people, when people are having like gender confusion and whatever discomfort in their own skin, whatever it may be,
yeah,
I think a lot of the times it's just gonna suck for a while and you'll get through it. Like,
Yeah.
you'll have an answer soon enough. And I think people jump the gun a little too much on this. Like, oh my God, you're transgender. Let's get you hormone therapy immediately. Well, maybe you should just sit on it for 6 months and see what happens.
Well-
Just see what happens. And then if it's still persistent, okay, well then maybe go down that road. I don't know anything. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what it involves.
Well, that's why they're teaching it in schools now, and in this particular province where this is happening. This is in St. John, New Brunswick.
New Brunswick.
They are having a huge discussion at this time about whether or not to pull this from the schools, this education
Right.
program. So I
What
don't
is
know
the education about? What is it? What is?
about anything LGBTQ related.
Okay.
Okay, because I don't know
But-
about you, but when we went to school, we didn't learn about these things, and I think that some
No.
people are scared that if this is discussed in schools to young children,
And I think
Yeah.
that the idea of, like, not as regular relationships, like male female, male whatever, this thing,
Yeah.
that thing, whatever it is, I think that should be taught. But I don't know about like it shouldn't be sexual. It should be
Right.
like don't make it about the actual engagement of sexual activity. Make it about everything that isn't that.
when you think about relationships and people who are
Because
in
we
relationships,
didn't get taught about sex either. Like, we didn't get taught
No.
about like
no.
we just got
But
taught about
what I'm
diseases.
trying to say is that when yes, that's true. When you think about people, straight people in relationships, right?
Yeah.
You think about how do they get along, and maybe you think about sex, but not really. But when people start to think about people of same sex being together, that's the first thing that comes to their mind.
Yeah.
And I think that's what needs to change.
Yeah, I think we need to be
We're all just people here.
I think the population needs to be desensitized to what queer means. Like, dude, whoever you love, fucking love them and fuck them.
Right.
Do it as
Exactly.
much as you can. Love them as much as you can. Fuck them as much as you can. But that's kind of where it ends, you know, and leave
But
the
it's never the
bedroom.
same for everyone.
I'm at the point where it's like, leave the bedroom in the bedroom. I don't talk about
Absolutely.
having sex with my wife. I don't talk about how I like to have sex with women. I don't talk how I'm cisgender and like the normal. I don't talk about how I'm a normie. I don't talk about with my friends when I'm with the boys at the bar. We're not talking about fucking chicks and licking pussy. We're not talking about that.
But
You
that's
know, we're
exactly
talking
it.
about life. We're talking about
That's
life,
exactly it.
and we're talking about everything.
Why are people so focused on the sex part of it?
Exactly. Why does it matter? Like is it, so the sexuality energizes other aspects of a personality. That's fine. Just don't tell me about fucking putting the dick inside the person or vice versa.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
for
I
the
don't need to hear about that. Tell me all about your how you think that you're, you know, being let down by society, how you think that you're being harmed by society. Tell me about all of that. But I just don't want to. Don't teach my kids about, you know, the
well,
actual act of
they need
sex.
to know. They need to know.
And that's like a very individual, private thing as far as I'm concerned. You know,
I agree, but
and
that's where
I don't need to socially, you know, proclaim my
So
sexuality.
how old do you think a child should be when they learn that?
I think it should be how their path entails. Like, I mean, it could be young, it could be old.
And
It just depends
did
on the
you
kid.
have sex education at all when you were in school?
Yep. I had it in. I remember actually. He was a junior B hockey player, like a really good hockey player.
Yeah.
In town, and he was our like first year out of college. He was like 23. He was our sex ed teacher for gym, like the assistant, and he like taught us how to like put on condoms and like taught us about pubic hair and how it's going to start growing. This is in grade
Okay.
junior school, like junior high, right? Like grade 6, 7, 8. So like literally every kid in there is like fucking enthralled in puberty, like a motherfucker,
Everyone needs
right?
to know that.
And we
regardless
learned
of
about
the-
periods and wet dreams and, you know, that kind of stuff, but never. I guess that is pretty sexual. What we learned, you know, that is pretty sexual.
It is all.
I don't
it's
think I
all-
need to learn about. I don't think I need to learn about what a wet dream was in grade 7. I'm gonna figure that one out. Okay,
I
that
think
one's
you probably already knew.
yeah, exactly right. Like yeah, we know what's going on there, buddy.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it is good to have like a progressive look at sexuality. I don't know.
It is
I'm like severely straight.
You know,
Right?
yeah, but okay,
I'm
okay.
masculine. I'm straight. I don't know. I don't have a point of view on this. It's not my battle. You know, I want to let people fight their battles. That's what I
This
want to
is
do.
about human rights.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
And if you're, I don't know what it's like to be a queer kid, but your voice matters as a queer kid, and I hope
Yes.
someone's listening to you.
yeah.
You know, that's all I can really ask. Is
But
if
I think
someone's
that in
listening to
order
you.
for people to understand it, they have to learn it.
Mm-hmm.
They have to learn about it.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can't be too quick to judge. You know, and
I
mean,
I think back to high school and stuff. All the kids that I knew were probably gay. They are now.
yeah, me too.
They
Yeah,
were
same
then
guy.
too.
Like
But
there was a couple
nobody-
dudes where it was pretty
Yeah,
obvious.
but no one ever said anything about that.
No, we
about
didn't
it
care. No,
directly.
and no one got teased either for that in the 90s.
Some people got teased, like for being feminine or something like that, which is not right. Okay, it's,
Not in my
no, it's-
school.
My school, yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, people will pick on anything. You know what I mean? Like if it's not the same as them or their group, they will pick on it. It doesn't matter what
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
Think about racism and all that stuff. It's all related.
Yeah, I think it's like a personality flaw. If you're gonna be racist or a bigot in any way, it's just something wrong with your personality.
I just don't know how it affects anyone what somebody else likes to do or likes
No,
to wear.
I know it doesn't. It doesn't.
You know?
But some people don't want their kids manipulated by that.
Yeah. So I guess the bottom line is how old is old enough to learn about sex? Not just
I think
just
puberty.
straight sex, not just straight sex.
I'd say high school, grade 9.
You think?
Yeah, high school. I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, but I think that
I'd like to keep-
you have to teach
I'd like my kid-
children before they have sex, though.
I don't know. We didn't, and we worked out fine.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that some aren't having it though, or that didn't
Oh,
get
well,
exposed
I
to
mean-
it in some way.
I know, but we didn't have like I never got a sex talk from my parents or anything like that. I think it starts in the household. I think it starts with the parents.
I had
if
to ask. I had to ask my mother because my friend had her mom told her all about it because her mom was a nurse, right? And she told me, and I was like, "Oh my god, like this is not this is a lot. This is news, right? And then I
Yeah.
asked my mother, can you explain it? And it took her like a whole 24 hours to get prepared for it. And it
Right.
didn't make a whole lot of sense. So that's why it's important to have someone trained to explain it.
Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to is the training. Like you can't just have a random undergraduate in arts that went to teachers college teaching this shit. Like it's got to be a professional. That's what I look
So
at. Like a sex therapist maybe, or like you know,
yeah,
there is children and youth sex counselors, you know, for especially for sexual disabilities, what's it called? What's it called when you're fucking chronically horny? What's that called again?
oh, uh,
Uh,
um,
what is it? What is that again?
a
Nympho. Yeah,
nymphomania. Yeah, yeah,
nymphomania.
yeah,
That's a
yeah.
disability. Like,
Is
and
it?
there's actually I've actually watched a
There's
documentary,
support groups for that. Yeah.
and there I've actually seen documentaries too on girls and guys that orgasm repeatedly involuntarily.
Wow.
Think about that. All of a sudden, you're just like coming your pants for no reason, or like having an
That is a
orgasm.
disability.
That's a disability. That's debilitating for Christ's sakes. All right, should we go over the week's news
Let's do
and
it.
just kind of go over